Hi, this is Reginald Perryman, associate real estate broker and real estate investor here in the Detroit, Michigan area. And today I just want to briefly discuss three of the most common scams that I see with out of state and foreign investors. And just want to briefly go over some of the scams we see and some of the terminology that you may hear involving some of these scams. Now, keep in mind, this is a disclosure. This is not legal advice, so we always recommend that you retain an attorney to protect your interests. So, one of the top scams we see involves property management, and this usually happens when, say, for instance, an investor is looking for what we call a turnkey property, meaning that it's currently tenant occupied and the investor doesn't want to take the time and effort to renovate a property to bring it up to code so that it can generate rental income. So turnkey basically means that it's already a tenant occupying a property and is generating income. And what happens is this is one of the issues that we run into with property management. Sometimes those tenant records are not accurate. And what that means is that someone is presenting to you that the tenant is paying and paying on time and is generating a certain net per month, and that's just not the case. So again, when you see some of these terms, make sure you do your due diligence. Phantom repairs. So this is when a property manager is billing you or hiring contractors that they may have a relationship with or some ownership interest in the construction company or builder that you're working with. So this happens when you're receiving invoices and notices and things of that nature stating that there's repairs needed, but there's no record of the repairs being completed or no photos to support the repairs that were done to the property. This becomes an issue once an investor decides to resell that property and we discover that the property condition is subpar, meaning that it has very poor maintenance over the past several years, and the investor has receipts showing that they've paid for repairs such as a new roof or new hot water tank, new furnace, and things of that nature. That would be obvious that these items were repaired sometime within the past several years. But once we go to sell the property, or put it on the market, you can see that this was not the case and those repairs or renovations were not completed. Unlicensed property manager. So this is a big one. In the state of Michigan, if you're transacting more than five real estate deals in the course of a year, you're supposed to be licensed as a real estate licensee. If you're a property manager, your property manager should have a real estate license. But there's a lot of people that are, for instance, there's investors that own quite a few properties and they probably sold to other investors and they decide to go into the property management business, or there's just people that deal with a lot of investors on a regular basis who decide to manage properties on their behalf. That person needs a real estate license. They don't have to be a realtor, but they need to have a real estate license in the state of Michigan. There should be escrow accounts set up for deposits, security deposits, and things of that nature. Mismanagement of rental income. We hear this all the time where, for example, we run into sellers that are selling their property and it's tenant occupied, and the seller's biggest complaint is, hey, I have a tenant in this property and I haven't received any rental income for the past 12 months. Well, if it's vacant, that makes sense, but not if it's being occupied. You're paying for repairs, um, and you were told that it was a turnkey property that was operating um, at a profit. And in fact, when you purchase the property, all of a sudden it's not generating any income. Rental registrations. Of course, you run into issues where the property is not registered as a rental property and you're receiving fines and blight notices. And most of the time, they're going to the property manager and the actual owner is not receiving those notices. So what happens when you go to sell the property, you realize that there's tons of liens and blight notices on the property. All right, so quitclaim deed. Now, there's nothing wrong with the quitclaim deed. The issue is that a quitclaim deed, at least for here in the state of Michigan, doesn't guarantee title. All quitclaim deed is doing is transferring one person's interest in the property to another person. So it doesn't give any guarantee. So even if you do a quitclaim deed, you should at least, at minimum, hire a title company to do a title search to make sure the person that's signing that deed is the actual owner. One of the reasons you may do a quitclaim deed, for example, if there's back taxes on a property, let's say you're buying a property for $30,000 and there's $6,000 in back taxes. Well, you can't record a warranty deed unless the taxes are paid. Well, let's say you negotiate to buy the home, say for $20,000, and you assume the back taxes. You can purchase via quitclaim deed, and then you can go pay the taxes at a later date. So there are some advantages and disadvantages as well, but at least do a title search through a title company to make sure that the person signing that deed is the actual owner. And that includes, if you're getting a warranty deed, you will receive title insurance on the property as well. Fraudulent deeds is when, oftentimes we'll see this happen when there's an out-of-state or foreign investor and your property is set vacant for some time. Someone will come along and create a fraudulent deed, usually a quitclaim deed, selling that property to someone else without your knowledge, because either the property is set vacant too long and no one is managing the property to keep an eye on it. And that falls under the fraudulent sale of your property. So that's one of the things we see here. And let's see. And the next one that kind of falls under that as well is we see a lot of IRA and private money loan issues. So there were some scams going around where someone would buy a home, let's say for $30,000, they would sell it to you for 30, 35, 40,000 at a profit, but they would suggest that you purchase this home through your IRA account. And in the meantime, what happens is you purchase the home, they also offer to manage the property for you, because in most self-directed IRA accounts, you are not allowed to manage the property or do your own repairs. So what happens is this person, they sold you the property at a profit, and also they're going to manage the property for you. And then that ties all the way back into the property management piece that we mentioned earlier. Now the issue is that all of these funds for these phantom repairs and things of that nature, plus the income that you're not receiving, as well as the management fees, are all coming from your IRA account, and they're affecting your IRA balance. The next one is, and there's nothing wrong with purchasing a home through your IRA account, but we do see some scams where this situation has happened. And the other one is where someone convinced you to loan an investor or give a mortgage, like a private money loan, through your IRA account to another investor. So basically, take the scenario that I just mentioned about you buying a home through your IRA account. But let's just say you didn't have all the cash available in your account and you borrowed the money. So what the scam is they will sell you the home and say you need $20,000 or $30,000 extra. So they would find someone else with an IRA account to loan you the money. Well, what happens when you buy that home? This person is mismanaging the property as well as the funds. They're draining all the resources and funds from your IRA account with these phantom repairs, and the property is not generating any income, or at least they're not giving you the income from the property. Now you're in default with someone that loaned you the money through their IRA account, and now this person has to pretty much foreclose on you. at that time. The problem is the price was overinflated for the property. So the person that forecloses on you is unable to recoup all the funds necessary to bring their account whole based on the amount that they loaned you on the property. So keep in mind, those are just some of the scams that we see. Just be cautious. Hire a licensed realtor or a licensed real estate agent, as well as a licensed property manager. We always recommend that you retain an attorney to protect your interests. Again, visit me at regiusrealestate.com for more info, as well as some additional rental properties or investment properties that you may be interested in. Thank you.